Sirupam Sagrayatam Sahagana Ragunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savatutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamscha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Mahang Bande Shri Guru Dinataranam. Yesterday, I had some very interesting conversations with one devotee from Guatemala. And he said one thing which struck a note in my heart, a special note. That note came from the expression, we are all Vrinda. We are all ISKCON. We are all Gaudiya Math. We are all Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. We are all the World Vaishnava Association or Vishva Vaishnava Raj Sabha. We are all the members of the Guru Tattva. And the Guru Tattva is totally under the control of the Supreme Controller, Paramatma, Sri Krishna. He has that privilege, or you say the last word, or you may also call it all the rights are reserved by him. We are this mission of love, but he is the one who is the owner, enjoyer, controller of our life. That's our promise to him as we try to become devotees. It's a trying only, trying to become devotees in a world increasingly hostile to spiritual dedication, increasingly controlled by the powers of illusion, the powers of the cell phones. Before it was the television, now it is Netflix or this or that, which controls people's mind, especially the news, practically the newscasts in this world are entirely dominated by a very small group of manipulators, and they will fight against anything which challenges their current way of manipulation. It's the reality of Maya. It's the reality show, a big game. But we don't belong to this. We belong to Lord Krishna. We belong to the eternal well-wisher of everybody. In this world, there's no well-wisher of others. Here and there, some Samaritan, how you say, like the when Samarit. Here and there you will find some people charitably disposed, compassionately disposed. Yes, they are there. towards starving people, freezing people, homeless people, towards animals, like the PETA organization, who's always makes a big steer if any animal is being mistreated. So there are such people. And of course, Prabhupada, our Gurudev, said that the majority of the people are rather innocent, and the perpetrators of the violence, exploitation, and deprivation of the world, this is really a mentality of a few. But at the same time, we can see that the ego world is very dominating, and this is a struggle for power, a stupid struggle for power, because in the end, each and every one of us will simply be powerless, lying in the bed like a baby. If you don't give anything to eat to the baby will die. So we are less like, if you're an old man who is cannot walk by himself, he's like a baby. He's totally depending. So there's a struggle for power in this world, domination, exploitation. It's just for silly people, foolish people, who have not understood the real meaning of human form of life. And thus they are doomed until they change their mentality. Until you change your mentality, definitely you're doomed in this material world. So, what a chance we have. An amazing, beautiful chance to serve Krishna, to spread his name and fame. And that is the spirit of Vrinda. Vrinda has been founded on the basis of the need of freedom, sovereignty, autonomous decision-making in the preaching, rather than being dependent on some bureaucratic institutional structure in which some personal interested people have invested their energy more for their name, fame, and profit than for the real cause. That was the situation after Srila Prabhupada left in a few places. I don't want to get into the details because that would be like showing the faults of individuals, what they did wrong here, what they did wrong there. But that's not very interesting because the mistakes of conditioned souls, they're already famously known. And we don't gain anything by contemplating the mistakes of conditioned souls. But the fact of the matter was, in Colombia with Srila Harijan Maharaj, my dearest godbrother, we could see that our country is not in good hands. And the need of autonomous management, sovereignty, of spiritual connection, where you decide what is my spiritual connection. That was an absolute requirement. And so, with a very painful process of disconnecting ourselves from the institutional connections, we started the Vrinda family. And the Vrinda family has gained much support and much enthusiasm from many sides. Even though you must understand, autonomous and sovereignty means that goes for everyone. So Vrinda is not trying to make another ISKCON, or Chaitanya Saraswat Mat is not trying to make another Gaudiya mission or another Chaitanya Mat. No. And there's no need for that type of conception of institutional expanding. Institutional expanding, it is something which has some practicality when it works proper, but many drawbacks when any egos or any lesser consciousness invades in the leadership. And the lesser consciousness in the leadership is only too prominent because we are in this conditional world. And we see that. On one side, we have the dedication of many devotees to Srila Prabhupada, which is even valid 50 years after his departures. Still, we find devotees who really want to serve Srila Prabhupada and really want to do something for him from the first batch of devotees, what to speak of the second batch, third batch, fourth batch, fifth batch, sixth batch. You know, we, the followers of Srila Prabhupada, we are here with him because of the freedom and autonomy he gave to us to preach Krishna consciousness, because of his love and trust. After Prabhupada left the GBC, they didn't show any love and trust to their members around the world. It became like, hey, you are in this institutional confined group or that. That was called zonal guruship. But it was not zonal guruship because they were not gurus. There were zonal administrations of an institution, and they didn't do very well administrating it, especially in South America. It was a bloody mess. Again, I don't want to go into the details to not contaminate our mind with names and what they did and what they did not do. But I take my word for it. It was a bloody mess, starting from Mexico, then to Guatemala, then to Panama, then to Costa Rica, Colombia, especially when you came to Peru, Chile. That was another bloody mess. So that means after Prabhupada left, we didn't have Guru Tattva working, because Guru Tattva is the heart-to-heart relationship of love and trust. When you hear a devotee, you fall in love with the preaching of a devotee, you want to commit to Prabhupada by what you heard from that person. Prabhupada will always be our supreme spiritual master in this. And not only him, but Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. He will always be the supreme spiritual master in our Gaudiya Mat tradition. And we belong to the Gaudiya Mat tradition. We also belong to the ISKCON tradition. We also belong to the Vishva Vaishnava Raj Shabbat tradition. We also belong to the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya tradition. We also belong to the Chaitanya Tree tradition. So we belong to a whole lot of things, right? But a guru-disciple relationship is something very loving and very inspiring. Like when we fell in love with Srila Prabhupada, how powerful that was. We were ready to do anything and everything for Prabhupada. There was no question of inconvenience or asking for a salary or something. No, not. Forget it. We were doing, of course, it doesn't mean there were not devotees with ulterior motives. Of course, the conditioned soul with ulterior motives are there everywhere. This is undoubtedly. But we have to overcome the ulterior motives and embrace pure bhakti if we want to get pure bhakti. So it also depends on what you really want and how much you put in. Ye yatamam papatyante tangstataiva bhajamyaham. Krishna says, as you surrender to me, I reward you accordingly. So, so that was a very interesting period there. And when we made that decision, we want to have autonomous management of our preaching of Prabhupada's mission here. We were rejected. We made a very polite and very sincere request to the International Society of Krishna Consciousness of that time, represented by the GBC, by Balavanta and others. We said, yes, we will be with you, but you let us manage here as we see fit. We don't need an American guy intervention coming here who's just going to make big telephone bills and doesn't help anything. And not does he really care for what's going on here. And they said, no, you cannot. I mean, this is just, you see, there's much more to say, but I don't want to extend it too far. But I just quote one thing, and that was the GBCs of those days. They're saying South America has no leaders in spiritual consciousness. They are all like kind of second or third class, and the leaders have to be supplied by Americans, yatra, like that. They said that, they thought like this, and they acted like this. And Vrinda challenged this entirely. Vrinda said, it's the contrary. Your American influence here is undesirable. You don't know how to manage and how to handle situation in South America because you're not here and you're not sacrificing yourself with the people, for the people. So the Vrinda mission grew entirely by the influence and dedication of devotees from Colombia, Ecuador, from Peru, Chile, Brazil, Argentina, Bolivia, Venezuela, entirely Mexico. So in this sense, we for sure established the fact that we can be autonomous. And when I say autonomous, I know maybe we fall in Maya, maybe there's some difficulties. Yes, there's difficulties everywhere. Even in holy India land, there's difficulties. So why should we not have any difficulties in Peru or in Brazil if there's even difficulties in the missionary development in the Holy Land of India? What to speak Europe, a disaster. USA, a disaster. No. Let's not even talk about it. So autonomous sovereignty, it means that you can also make mistakes. There was a famous saying when Mahatma Gandhi said to the Britishers, we want independence from you, stupid British people, just giving trouble here and stealing. Then the Britishers answered to him, oh, you are too inexperienced. You cannot manage a country like that. You will make too many faults. Then the answer was, we want to have the right to make our own faults. Get out. Get out of here. I mean, this is political management of a country. It's actually quite different. Spiritual management of mandirs and preaching, the whole principle of expanding Krishna consciousness. Yes, you have to pay rent. Yes, you have to look after so many practical things. But at the same time, our concern is that people's welfare. Of course, a country, a government is also supposed to think and work for the people's welfare. in that sense. But because there's no spiritual adhikar, there's no training, so it's obvious that these political parties are always full of corruption and not really for the welfare of everybody. Usually it's the rich for the rich and against the poor and all this stupid stuff. But in Krishna consciousness, not. A real spiritual leader is a real Brahmin. He is the welfare, the well-wisher of the others. He works for the advancement of the others. He is completely determined that others should be happy, and he's ready to work for that. So that is where the autonomy is required. You cannot work on behalf of Srila Prabhupada if you're not allowed to develop your own relationship with the people and your ideas and the creativity and the practically how does a guru make his disciple a responsible devotee? By trusting him, by giving him departments to manage. You want to make I remember when my friend Dwarakesh, then Bhakti Dayal Swami, then our leader of the Hungarian devotees, he was requested to translate Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita into Russian, even though he was from Hungary. But he had learned Russian in school, so he was so enthusiastic that behind the Iron Curtain there should be preaching. So Narayan Maharaj, he just started to translate the Bhagavad Gita. He translated the entire Bhagavad Gita. I think later they must have, Russian people must have improved the translation, but his translation was the first translation of Bhagavad Gita as it is into Russian language. So this is the real spirit of Vrinda, is to be autonomous. Even if you're a devotee who are rather new, I mean, not that new, you should know the philosophy, you should have decided, your heart's decision has to be ready. I want to be a devotee of Krishna, I want to serve Srila Prabhupada. That's a fact. If you don't have that decision made, obviously you're not qualified to lead anybody anywhere in Krishna consciousness. But I have my personal experience of many beautiful people, young people, women, men, leading others into a very beautiful Krishna consciousness lifestyle and life and assignment. And then, like I say, you have to train up people by giving them assignments. Hey, do this. This is your package. Develop it. Go and preach in the colleges. That is your package. Go and publish this book. It's your package. Open a temple here, there, this, that. Huh? That is that is the whole thing. The whole idea. The whole idea is people taking up responsibility. Just like when you have a wife and have children. That is your responsibility. Nobody else in the world is going to step forward and says, you have wife and children, don't worry about them. I'll pay all the bills. I'll look after the education of the kids. You can just have a leisure time and you enjoy yourself. And if you want to come sometimes and look at your wife and children, go, you're welcome. But otherwise, I'm thinking about them. I'll look after them. Do you know one single case like that in the whole world? Any one case? No. Father, mother, it's their job to look after their children. And if they don't do a good job, they get the karma, not other people. They get the karma, they pay the karma. So the spiritual family is the very same thing. The guru is responsible for the children, for the disciples. He has to make sure they are happy and advancing in Krishna consciousness. He has to be responsible to trust them and to give them areas to expand Krishna consciousness. So that was the spirit of Vrinda. So if I'm saying we are all Vrinda, we all have this spirit. And we have to continue in that spirit. And that spirit is not institutional. Yes, we are also happy. So like Rupa Manjari in Africa, he just sent me pictures. He took initiation some time ago. He sent me a picture of a temple he opened with beautiful congregation and deities and everything. I've not even been to Africa, to that place. But he is my disciple and he's spreading there. Just yesterday he sent me a picture. I said, when I'm going to go to Africa to visit him. Maybe not, but is autonomously, with his energy and his devotion, he has established a temple, deities. I can show you. No, I can't. It's in the recording device. But beautiful. So Krishna consciousness is beautiful because it is freedom and autonomous. That's exactly what in the material world you don't have. People, this system of this world wants to take away your autonomous thinking, your autonomous action. But devotion without autonomous welcoming, your free decision making, without that, there is no devotion. You cannot have devotion when you're told, hey, you got to do it this way and that way, and don't say anything and don't think otherwise. That's not bhakti. Bhakti is on the contrary. We have the regulative principles. We have the beginner's bhakti, which is according to rules and regulations, and we have the Raganuga Bhakti, which is the complete spontaneous flow of love and service. No restriction. Yeah, there are restrictions. What are the restrictions? Srimati Radharani has to be satisfied. If Srimati Radharani is not satisfied, if Guru Deva is not satisfied, then you will also not be able to gain what you have come for, this pure love. But in the beginning stages, when we just follow the rules and regulations and do like, it is the very first steps. I mean, also advanced devotees follow rules and regulations. I'm not saying they're not, but they're not depending on them. They are totally in the field of doing what their heart requests them to do for their guru, a loving offering. Just like when a person makes a flower vase. So it is his creation. Put this flower there, put this flower there. If somebody comes, no, you should put that flower there and that flower. Leave me alone. I make this flower vase and it's going to look the way I want to offer it to Krishna. Is that okay? You better say yes, because otherwise take the flowers and you do the flower vase and leave me alone. So this is the same way when you decorate the deities. You have to, that is your day now. You are doing the deity decoration. Now, of course, you put the peacock feather of Krishna on his crown. You don't put it on his feet, right? Because he has a crown with a peacock feather. So it's not that you're just mixing it up all, no? There are some Vedic rules, no? Vaidhi Bhakti, that is by organized tradition. But otherwise, everything we do, especially in relationship with others, the personal relationship, it has to be spontaneous. When I talk to you, at the end of our conversation, you got to come out saying, wow, yes, right, now I'm going to do it. If after my talking to you, you go, he killed my spirit of doing anything. Now I don't want to do anything. Look, he took all my freedom, all my love away. Then what is my preaching? Worthless. So even in regards the relationship with others is concerned, there's a great responsibility that the commitment or the result has to be towards happy devotional dedication. Only in happy devotional dedication can we do beautiful things. And we have to be organized a little bit as well. But the organization we can also learn. This is kind of a mechanical thing. Organizational things are mechanical things. Devotional things? No. Devotional things, they're totally in the realm of loving feelings and commitment or desire to do something beautiful. If you desire to do something horrible, then please don't tell me about it. And you'll later see what you get. I mean, like somebody saying, oh, I want to break into this house and steal everything is there. Don't tell me about it. Better you don't do it, but if you do it, you'll get your karma also. So don't share anything horrible with me, I don't need it. But if you do something wonderful, and the preachers, they always want to do things wonderful. So they want to share their ideas, not only share, they want, hey, can you help me to make this garden beautiful? Beautiful? Do you like to make it beautiful looking for Krishna? Do we want to have some vegetables for Krishna from this garden? Do we want to make sure the weeds are not destroying all the little plants? Like that. Then you may say, yes, I like it. I work with you. Let's do this garden. Let's do this orchard. And then we work. And then there will be a result. And when the result comes, then still the motivation will be checked. Now you say, oh, now I got all these nice fruits and vegetables. Let me take them together, take them to the market, sell them, and put the money in my pocket. Oh, yes? Well, I worked on it. I worked to make these plants go. Yes, you worked, but isn't this a temple's orchard? Wasn't that made for the temple? Or what happened there? Huh? So, in other words, all along the way, we will be tested in what is our motivation, which way we want to go. And autonomous is that you know where to go. You want to go back to home, back to God, that you want to no karma, no jnana. You want to be a servant of Sri Krishna. And you want to increase the family of devotees. You want to increase the number of temples. You want to increase the number of happy people in Krishna consciousness. Then if you have that as your goal, then go ahead and do whatever you like. When I sent out somebody to be temple president somewhere, I can give him some ideas. But in the end, he has to go to do whatever he likes. Go to the university and preach. Sell prasadam in the center of town. Invite people on the Instagram or on the Facebook. Chant your rounds from 2 to 3, or from 3 to 4, or from 4 to 5, or from 5 to 6, and chant as many rounds as you can, but chant. Do your artik at 4:30, or at 5, or at 6, or at 7. Do your artik and offer your food, because you should only eat food which has been offered to Krishna. Got it? Now you do it. You apply it. Time, place, and circumstance. You see what kind of song you want to sing also. But I first want to sing for Guru. Okay, then do Guru Puja before the Mangal Artik. When we started, we were singing the Guru song in the Mangal Artik. We started with Samsara. Why? Prabhupada told us this way. Nowadays, we don't do that. We sing first the Guru song, and then we start the Artik. Because the tradition is when the Artik is there, then we are doing the puja to the Lord. But this is all. There's no hard and fast rules. Because if you glorify your Guru in front of the deity, then the deity is most happy about that. So they're like his Archana Khan, Archana Padati, different types of services or styles of service, they're all accepted. It all depends on your heart. So Vrinda is autonomous preaching. Vrinda is the sovereignty of many, many gurus with their disciples. And not that one group has to tell the others what they have to do. No, neither will they ever listen. There's no right to say, and there's no need to obey. Of course, if there's a good advice coming from a good, highly realized soul, then it is very good for us to accept that. But for that, we have to also accept that he's my well-wisher, and he is actually an advanced soul, and what he's telling me is actually favorable for me and for the people who surround me. This is all I want to say this morning. It's not very long. Oh, it's already. If you have any questions, go ahead. Don't be shy. I have challenged established institutional values. Some institutions, when they hear me talk, they will say, "Ooh, this is a rebel. Ooh, this is a revolutionary. He's going against our institutional restraints." No, I'm going for the freedom a devotee needs to live. Srila Bhakti Rakak Srila Maharaj told us, everybody has the right and duty to give to others what he received from his Guru Dev to his heart's content. That is the right and duty. So if you don't do it, if you don't give what your Guru gave to you, then you're failing on your Guru and you're failing on the people who are coming in front of you, because the children depend on the maturity and the giving willingness of their parents. If the parents are giving a bad example, even though the grandparents they were good, then those parents, they're failing their children. They are failing on them. And we should not fail. We should fulfill. We should do the needful so that our children can be happy in Krishna consciousness. And that's only possible if there's the adequate space. Any question?
Yeah. I remember my Bhakti leader in Varada, she told me, if I act independently, I can go. He said like this.
Yes, that may be the instruction for somebody who's just new coming and he's very naughty and he doesn't get up for anything. And when they ask him to do some service, he goes and sits in the park looking at his cell phone. Then maybe they're going to say, hey, if you're not going to practice anything here, then you can also go. I mean, you have to be reasonable. And especially when you live together with others, you have to be reasonable. Hey, we all have to pitch in for the expenses, no? Somebody goes in the bathroom. If you leave the bathroom dirty, you are bad. Go back, clean the bathroom. Like that, there's in living together with others, there are obligations, no? Some people eat and leave the plate half-eaten somewhere. That's just horrible. If somebody does that, you say, hey, you can't do that here. You finish your plate and then you wash it. And then you can go on to other things. So like this, that may be valid, a certain restraint for the newcomers when they're trained up. But now this person who spoke to you is not controlling you. He's far away. But he's very happy that you're still a devotee because you learned your first lessons. Discipline is not bad. Discipline is very good, but taking away the freedom of thinking, feeling, and willing and serving, that is wrong. But if I'm a temple commander and there's 7 people in my temple, I say, Prabhus, now we have service time. You do the bathroom, you do the kitchen, you do the ashram, you go to the printer and bring the books, and you make the accounting. Okay? And one says, no, I don't want to do the accounting. Okay, Then, okay, you go in the kitchen and the one from the kitchen takes the accountant. You see, to distribute the services according to the willingness and the capacity of the individual. That's leadership. You have to do that. It's a bit painful, but it's necessary. And that doesn't contradict at all what I was speaking previously. Any other question? Okay, thank you so much for listening. Now we're going to see our